Bob, as we take that live look there at Fayetteville, North Carolina, I mean, what is happening right now behind the scenes in the Democratic Party? We know that VP Harris is supposed to be coming on that stage, supposed to be addressing that crowd, but her address also comes in the middle of all of this chaos and reports that, the president could step aside as soon as this weekend. I mean, are we closer to seeing the president step aside? And what is happening behind the scenes there with the Democrats?
Well, the person who is driving the bus here, it's not Barack Obama, it's not Chuck Schumer, it's not Jeffries. It's a rank and file member, technically, former Speaker Nancy Pelosi. I remember I've interviewed her several times, and when I was talking to one of her allies years ago, when she was making a tough decision, she was taking criticism. I was told that Pelosi makes a decision and then she does not white knuckle it. She executes it. And right now she's looking to push Biden aside. That is clear. And I think that that's why Biden has to decide very shortly, because Congress comes back next week, and the calls for Biden to step aside, orchestrated by Pelosi and others, are going to increase. So Biden has a few days. Obviously, he's sick now. I think they'll give him until Monday. And then if he does not, and he is stubborn, I think the pressure is only going to intensify.
And I just have to follow up. I mean, what does this mean for his legacy, whether or not he steps aside and all of the chaos surrounding this?
Well, that's what Biden world, I think, is discussing right now. What is his legacy? If his legacy is he stays in the race and he resists the growing calls for him to step aside, then, as Bill Maher said, he could be Ruth Bader Biden, that he stayed on too long and he lost. I think here, this would be a situation, if he does step aside, it would be viewed as statesman-like. The Democratic Party would say they're united. I don't think they're going to be completely behind Harris. And I do think Biden would have to endorse Harris, and they would rally around her and have a big showing at the White House. But otherwise, they're completely divided. And I think if Biden stays in, and right now I can't see any way that he can win at this time, his legacy would be tarnished, to say the least.
All right. Well, Bob Cusack breaking it all down for us. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.